Is Florida a terrible place to ride a motorcycle? That's going to be the topic at hand today. We're on the 2024 MT-09. Watch my other videos on this bike. Many people think that living in Florida would make for an excellent place to ride a motorcycle year-round. The reasons are it's beautiful. We have good weather, meaning it's never cold enough for you to just not want to hop on your bike, throw a leg over. It's either in the summer it's 90 degrees and that's acceptable, and in the winter time it's about 70 degrees and that's also acceptable and actually desirable and ideal for riding conditions to be in the like 70 degree range. But it's not all rainbows and unicorns here in Florida for riding motorcycles. And I'm going to talk about, while you can ride every month out of the year, it is not a perfect place to ride a motorcycle. And there actually is no perfect place. There are places that are better to ride than others, that's for sure. But Florida, it's not ideal for riding a motorcycle, even though the weather is conducive to doing it year round. All right, so let's get into the first reason why Florida is just not a fun place to ride. Well, look at what I'm doing. This is about all it offers. Very few places in Florida have turns. All right, so even though we have beautiful coast, oh, there's an iguana. There you go. I mean, I guess that's what makes it partially entertaining. Iguanas running across the road. Yeah, we don't have turns. Everything's straight, and it gets boring quite fast because the bikes, they want to play. They're playful machines. They're capable machines. The MT-09 especially, take this bad boy on a track, and unfortunately here in Florida I just don't have any curvies to really improve my riding skills through the turns, or you just have a good time through the mountains or hills. We don't even have hills. That's point number one. Florida sucks for riding because everything's straight, flat, and predictable, and yeah, nowhere to really test the limits of the bike with its handling capabilities, unless you find a track day somewhere, which, you know, if you're able to do that, great. But there are really no tracks where I live, so it's a moot point. Another reason why Florida is not the best place to ride a motorcycle is, well, it's the weather, but not what you're thinking, right? You think sunny Florida, but Florida's also the home of hurricanes and tons of rain showers and thunderstorms. It's one of the lightning capitals of the world. No, you're probably not going to get struck by lightning on your motorcycle, even though I'm sure it has happened. You're going to get in wet conditions, and riding in the wet and the rain is not ideal. So that's the thing. Where I live in Florida, it's sunny, hot in the morning, almost too hot to ride by some people's standards. If you live in California, it's pretty much, that is the perfect place to ride, and the places in Australia and other places. But here we get dumped on every day. And it's typically in the early afternoon where I live. Tampa might be around 5 o'clock. Here it's, I don't know, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and it can rain all the way till sundown. Look at that Monte Carlo there, baby. That is sick. Not in the best condition, but man, I bet it was a pretty nice car in its heyday. That guy has headphones on inside of his Monte Carlo, and he's on his phone, all right? And so everyone's on their phone nowadays. It's not a Florida exclusive by any means, but I guess we can talk about what a Florida exclusive is. And that is the age of the population where I live is really, really old. And they are not the most aware on the road. Add that phones in their hands and them not being situationally aware, it's not the safest place to ride if you're worried about unpredictable old people. On the flip side, we don't have that many young people, which are also can be very reckless and unpredictable with their driving, and definitely tied to their phones. So if I had the choice between you know, experienced and maybe unpredictable older drivers and inexperienced and phone laden young people, I guess Naples is, or Florida in general, it could be worse, right? We just don't have that many, at least where I live in Southwest Florida. There's just hardly any young people out on the streets driving with their erratic behaviors or risk-taking behaviors. So yes, a lot of old people, not ideal, but again, the flip side is not a lot of young people And I guess that's a pick your poison there. Now, I've also lived in the Midwest. You guys know I was born and raised in Nebraska. And how does a place like the Midwest compare to Florida in terms of riding a bike? Well, it has its pros and cons. Again, nowhere is perfect, well, unless you're in California where you have mountains and sun and temperate weather. But most places are not perfect for riding motorcycles. So in eastern Nebraska, where I'm from, you have hills and you have winding roads, and that definitely makes for a better riding experience for sure. But I would it would be torture in my opinion going from Florida to Nebraska. Even though it's more fun from a driving aspect, I can complain about having straight boring roads here, but one thing I can always bank on is excellent pavement, hardly any potholes, and just really excellent infrastructure for riding safely. So again, another pro for Florida, but also a con for other places is you're not going to find better roads in America, at least better paved roads in America, than you do throughout the state of Florida due to our good weather that we have year round. Also, if you live somewhere that has winter half the year like Nebraska, also torture, absolute torture. You spend a good penny on your pleasure machine, your motorcycle, and then you're held back. You're held back 6 months out of the year looking at your toy in garage or thinking about it being in storage. So even though the rain here can take away some of the riding days, it's few and far between. And if you live in a predictable area like I do, where it typically rains in the afternoon, it's not a problem. Get your riding done in the early part of the day. But it does suck if it is your only means of transport, because if you're commuting to work, which motorcycles are amazing for, then you get caught in the afternoon rainstorm. So you just have to invest in better rain gear and just drive a little bit more cautious and more defensive in rainy conditions for sure. But I'd still take rainy conditions half the year over a complete freeze out of riding. Now, some of you might be saying, Kirk, in the wintertime in the Midwest, I still ride. Well, you're a badass, and I hope you have hand warmers and really warm riding gear, because it is just not enjoyable to freeze your ass off on a bike. I haven't done it much. I've been caught in the rain when it's 50 degrees. That's enough to freeze me out down here, but I'm sure it's a lot worse when you're in the Midwest and the temperatures are just hellish. Cougar Crossing? I guess that's another con for, oh, I just had something fall on my helmet. Hold on. There it goes. There we go. Beautiful inline 4 R6. The wildlife here, I guess that's a negative. Now, mosquitoes don't bother me too much when I'm geared up like this, but we have panthers, we have alligators, we have bears. You know, we still have deer, but I would take the deer problem here, which our deer are pretty small, and you hardly hear of anyone hitting deer in Florida, at least where I live, compared to back home in Nebraska. So the wildlife, even it's more diverse down here compared to most parts of the country. Actually, the Everglades is about more diverse than the rest of the United States combined. To me, it's a pro, because I love seeing all the different types of birds that we have here. And so it kind of makes up for the potential killers here, which most of them are in the water, and I don't have to worry about it on a bike. So bears, alligators, all that good stuff, don't have to worry about it. Sharks, don't have to worry about it on a motorcycle. And massive deer to run into, don't have to worry about that either. The lack of diversity in the roads here, the aging population, the rainstorms that we get, it doesn't matter to me. You have to sift through the bad things of your local environment, and riding anywhere, even if it's just part of the time of the year, is better than not riding at all. Let me know what your favorite places are to ride, where you live, how you like the riding there. What are some of the pros and cons of your local environment regarding the geography, the population? Oh gosh, bugs, that's another thing. These bugs, like I mentioned, the mosquitoes don't get me, but these massive, I don't know, palmetto bugs, aka cockroaches, whatever hit me, it feels like getting hit by a paintball on a motorcycle. It's ridiculous. But I want to hear all about where you live and what kind of conditions you enjoy and also just loathe about your local environment and population. It's going to be fun to see you guys sound off down below. And there is no perfect place to ride for the most part. Like California, for example, yes, the weather is perfect. The roads are pretty close to perfect, even though you have potholes. But you guys have like smog checks and you guys can't modify your exhaust legally. So you have other crap you deal with there. Heck, in Florida, I don't even need motorcycle insurance. Isn't that crazy? You don't need insurance to ride a motorcycle here. It's mind-blowing. And you don't need a helmet. You just need eye protection. So there's all sorts of other things that could cover in terms of legislation for your local state or province or whatever it is. But yeah, Florida, it's a great place to ride because when you get these openings here, you see things like iguanas run across the road. Hopefully you don't hit one. Yeah, it makes it all worth it in my opinion. A little bonus content here. The motorcycle of the sea, jet skis, I think a lot of people would say, hey, that's a better thing to ride in Florida. And, you know, if you're lucky enough, you would have both. And this is what makes it all worth it down here, guys. This is what makes it all worth it. The only hills we have here are overpasses. And then we come down, look at this beautiful island. Reminds me of the Keys, honestly. Just very, very grateful. Guys, visit Marco Island, Naples area. It's one of the best places in America for vacationing, I would say. Especially in the winter time when you want to escape your winter. So I'm going to be quiet, play a little B-roll for you guys while I'm riding, and just smiling ear to ear and just grateful that I have a great state and a great location to ride motorcycles. If you guys enjoyed the video, smash the like button. Subscribe for more MT09 content. Again, I have the Honda SCL 500 for review. I'm going to do a little off-roading video with that. And of course, stay tuned for more Grom coverage. Catch you in the next one. Peace. Here's a bonus reason why Florida is also a great place. If you guys like cars, on my way home, after I edited the footage of this ride along, I saw a yellow Lamborghini Spider. I saw a yellow Lotus. I saw a red Ferrari and a brand new C806. So like that's a part of the normal where I live, and I get to soak that all in and appreciate it while I'm in the saddle here in South Florida.